So I've asked Mrs. Gamba. Hi, I'm Sam Lamaglia, Chairman of the Board of Finance, and I'm running for mayor. We're going to take a tour of Farmington Avenue to discuss my economic. Hi, I'm Sam Lamaglia, Chairman of the Board of Finance, and I'm running for mayor. We're going to take a. Hi, I'm Sam. So I've asked Mrs. Gambas, who's been an advocate for the seniors, to talk a little bit about senior housing and the needs of senior housing. And there's approximately 40 to 50 people on the wait list, and that's a shame in Berlin that these people are waiting to be on senior housing. Mrs. Gambas, how are you? Nice to have you here.
Fine, thank you for this opportunity to speak for the seniors.
That's right, thank you. So if you can give us a little what we lack for senior housing and what we need for the future.
We definitely are lacking in senior housing. We've been waiting for senior housing for many years. From 2019, like you said, we were supposed to be on track. We have nothing right now. And when people call me, and we have a wait list, and when people call me, their homes are too big or they want to move out of their home, they have nowhere to go. And they'll say to me, I would like to go to senior housing. It hurts me to say to them, you have to go to Newington or Southington or Plainville. You can't stay in Berlin when you've been in Berlin all these years, and you can't stay here because we don't have the adequate housing. We definitely, and so we are hoping to add on Percival Avenue 50 units for seniors. And it will be, we can say it's going to be senior and disability housing is what the technical thing is. But it's going to be central to the town, easy for them to come to the senior center, easy for them to go to the bank, the doctors, and whatever they have to do. They're right close to the center of town. And it's good for the senior bus too, that picks up the people for lunches or programs here. We're centrally located.
That's right.
And that's where the senior housing has to be, on Percival Avenue.
Exactly.
It's town property, and we're just waiting to develop it.
Now that was where the old Knights.
The old Knights of Columbus will be taken down.
Right.
Which should have been done a while back.
That's right.
It's actually a hazard now.
That's right.
But that's where it will be a two buildings, 2 stories with 50 units. And seniors need to have a place to, if you go somewhere else, you want to be in an area where you're safe. And you have people that check on you, you're checking on them. It's a community for seniors. And I see that down here when I drive through and I see the seniors sitting outside in the afternoon,
Right.
having their conversations. It's a community and they're safe. And that's a good thing for seniors, because if you're living by yourself in an apartment somewhere, you don't have that safety.
And you don't have that community.
You don't have the community.
And that's what's important for seniors, to have that community of people talking to each other, talking about their families, or sitting, like you said, sitting under a tree on a summer day, having their their coffee or whatever.
Yeah.
And some of them have known each other for years, and that's one of the advantages of living in Berlin.
That's right.
Because you've known each other, now you're living in a community, a senior community, and that's what we need in town of Berlin.
And you know the banking areas,
That's
you
right.
know the town, you know the streets, and when you're older, you probably don't want to drive too far, and you don't want to be out on the Berlin Turnpike where everybody's going 60, 65 miles an hour. So you want to be in town where you can do your banking, you can do your groceries, you can do things like that, and that's why we need senior housing in Berlin.
And our population in Berlin is aging. I mean, now there's a lot of more seniors that are living in Berlin, and it should be our main priority as elected officials to concentrate on senior housing. And the population of the whole country is aging. In reality, our birth rates are down, so it should be our responsibility to make sure we have a viable community and keep the seniors in their hometown. And that's why I'm a firm supporter of senior housing, and I think it's one of the biggest investments that a community can do, is to take care of our seniors and make them feel that they're part of the community. Because today, seniors, you know, people used to say when you're 60, it's like being 40. When you're 70, it's like being 60. So the seniors are really younger and they're more active, and why not have an active senior community? Because they're the ones that are going to give to the community and get involved, because they have the time to get involved. And this is what I think we've lacked for 6 years, or even more, really. This you know, we don't want to put the blame just on this mayor. It's been going on more than 6 years. Other mayors have not done that.
No.
And this is where we should concentrate on the finance and building a really good, vibrant senior community.
Yes. And seniors who have raised their families here, and they want to stay here, and they want to see their grandchildren if they're still living in the area. That's important, and it's important for them to see the friends that they grew up with and grew up their children with, and we need that connection here in Berlin.
We do. You know, I'd like to thank you, Mrs. Gombounds. You've always been an advocate for seniors, a young lady, and it's really, and you know what? We got to thank you for that, because there's a lot of people. You've been fighting for seniors for a long. How long have you been on the Commission of Aging?
I've been on the Commission for Aging for over 11 years.
Yeah,
but and you know, that's been one of my things to do, to see senior housing. And the longer I stayed on the commission, the more I knew that there was such a need for senior housing, as people called them and me and said, "Oh, we want to move, but where would we go?"
That's the point. You can't never have enough senior housing.
No.
And this is one of the reasons why I'm running for mayor. We've got to take care of the young families of the community also, give them activities. But we also can't forget our seniors. And our seniors are the most important aspect of this town. And that's why we need to have a two-prong, a senior housing, which is very important. We can get federal funds. There's a lot of money for senior housing right now that we can work with Joe Bajorski, who's in charge of the Housing Authority, and work very closely with them. And then we've got to look at the phase of the senior center, where we can get therapy pools and help the seniors get more active, and exercise classes for the seniors. And that's why we need a community center for them, which under my administration we're going to get done. So I want to thank everybody for watching this. I want to thank Mrs. Gombach.
And I want to say one more thing. The young people, the young families, the young parents of today will be the seniors of tomorrow.
That's right.
Because I've been in town 50 years, and I mean, I grew my family up here.
You did.
So these parents will be the seniors of tomorrow, so we're looking ahead for
That's
years.
right. And you know what? She's right about that, because I still can't believe I'm a senior. I mean, really, I remember years ago, and all of a sudden I woke up and I'm 62 years old, and my wife told me the other day, "You're a senior." I said, "Oh my God, I am."
That's true.
But listen, thank you very much.
Thank you for this opportunity.
Hi, I'm Sam Lamaglia, Chairman of the Board of Finance, and I'm running for mayor. We're going to take a tour of Farmington Avenue to discuss my economic Good afternoon. I'm standing in front of the Senior Center. In my administration, my concentration is going to be Senior Center, Community Center. And let me explain to you why we need a Senior Center, Community Center. On the senior side, we need a Senior Center so the seniors could have a viable, larger Senior Center where they have the therapeutic pools, the exercise rooms, and just a community room where they can just come and have breakfast and enjoy themselves and have bingo. On the community side, we need a pool so we can have our kids do our competitions from Berlin High swim team, and also do the exercise room and basketball courts for activity for our students or kids in the community. And how am I going to fund it? I'm going to fund it with state and federal grants. My opponent says that he wants the Y to control the senior community center. I think it would be a disgrace to sell out the town of Berlin to any organization Let's invest in Berlin. Let's put out that Berlin pride. Let's take care of our seniors. Let's take care of our youth, and we can do it ourselves without any help. Thank you very much. Hi, I'm Sam Lamaglia, Chairman of the Board of Finance, and I'm running for mayor. We're going to take a tour of Farmington Avenue to discuss my economic plans and discuss how we're going to bring Berlin forward. We're standing in front of Coles Road Brewery, one of the few developments I've got to say has been a plus for the town of Berlin. And these are the type of businesses that we should bring into Berlin where people could get together to come and eat or drink and enjoy time with friends. Here's another example of what I'm talking about, empty buildings, because we tax the small business people a lot of money because we don't have larger companies to offset this. We don't have the walk-in traffic that we're talking about. The sidewalks are broken, the grass is not maintained. It's not conducive to walk-in. This is the historical meeting house on Witherton Ridge. This empty's been vacant for a long time. I will get grants and get this done. We're going to put cafe in there. We're going to put the offices of the Historical Society. It's going to be an educational venue for kids throughout the area where they can learn about the history of Berlin and the history of Connecticut.
Good evening, Berlin. I'm here with, oh, we're not. Gosh, nothing ever works today. It's a really shitty day today. We're good?
What's wrong? Hmm?
All right. Good evening, Berlin. I'm here with candidate for mayor Sam Lamaglio. We're bringing to you a quick little Q&A and a reminder to go out and vote tomorrow. Sam, you got any words for the people out there?
Yeah, the polls are open from 6 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock in the evening. And we hope everyone could go and vote because I think this is a very crucial election. This is about everything we want and plan out. This is about the future of Berlin. I mean, right now we've got an administration that, is not as transparent as we like to be, and I think my administration will be more transparent. But the most important thing about this election is about Berlin pride and Berlin swagger. I think we've lost the Berlin pride, and I think we can get it back in this election. And also it's about the community center, senior center. It's so excited to even think about that we could actually do this. In my administration, we're going to do it. We're not going to give it lip service. I mean, for the past 6 years or so, we've been promising the community center, senior center. We just haven't gotten it.
Yep.
So what do you think?
I think as much as we've educated everyone, tried to be as transparent, it's really going to be up to you guys out there. We really need to count on your vote tomorrow. The senior center, the community center, I think is something that's been long overdue. Something our community needs, and here is our opportunity to make it happen.
What people don't understand why this election is very critical. When I was, I'm not going to be on the Board of Finance anymore. When I was on the Board of Finance, I was the vote to bring it over to bring the budget together. It's a 3-3 vote, 3-3 board. Mm-hmm. And there's always somebody that's got to go on the other side. I mean, whatever the argument is.
Yep.
And right now, without me going on that Board of Finance, it's going to be more of a partisan board. The 3 Republicans aren't going to vote for an education budget. Just it's not.
Yeah.
I mean, what I find really hilarious is that when the mayor campaigns and said he's pro-education, I don't know, maybe in his fantasies, I don't know. But the point is that when you have a 3-3 board and you don't have that person that wants to compromise in the middle,
yep,
then it diverts to last year's budget. And last year's budget would devastate next year's budget. We would close the school down or cut programs.
right.
And we don't want that to happen. But if we elect a mayor that could bridge that could go to the Board of Finance and say, hey, we've got to compromise. A mayor that's going to communicate. That's the trick of it. It's called communication.
Right.
I think that's important. But, you look at Berlin right now, we talked about this, I think, last week.
Yep.
What is there to do in Berlin? I mean, seriously, give me on a weekend, what is there to do in Berlin?
I couldn't tell you. I never spent a weekend in Berlin.
And that's the problem. And in my candidacy, we talk about a community senior center,
yeah,
and it's not just a community senior center. It's a place where people can go. I mean, I visualize this community center like we talked about the other time, a coffee shop in there.
Yeah.
And you could do racquetball, or you could play basketball or
Yeah.
whatever you want to do.
You can host tournaments and events.
Yeah, whatever. But you could
Definitely,
also
yeah.
have a room like this with chairs, and you could sit around, you could talk to your friends, you could talk to even grown-ups, my age.
Right.
We'd go over there and we'd just talk with people and have a coffee or something.
Yeah.
And especially in the wintertime. I mean, that's a place to go in the wintertime. That could be our place to go.
Yeah.
And in the summertime, If you think about it, other towns have concerts. They have concerts
They
on
do.
the green.
Yep.
We don't have a green. So what my candidacy is saying is that I want to establish a green. There's that area of land near Stop and Shop American Legion. We could work
Yeah.
out a deal with them, maybe buy the land from them or maybe lease. I'm not sure. Whatever they want us to do, we could work it out.
Right.
Where we could put a music shed in there and have summer entertainment there, maybe one night a week.
Yeah.
Where people could bring a bag lunch or they could buy food on the Ave. I mean, that's important.
Yeah.
And that gives us something to do. Then you go up the road to the old meeting house.
Yes.
That's another place that needs to be developed, and that doesn't take a lot of money to develop. And that's another thing that's been going on for 6 years, and that building's just deteriorated. That building's an historical building. There's a
Right.
lot of history in that building, and we have an historical society that would do something. We could also put a coffee shop there or something and
Yeah.
get people in there.
Something to bring in revenue for the town.
Everything. And then you go up the road, you go to Timberland Park. I mean, you got a golf course there, underutilized. You know,
Yes,
I was there at a
yes.
function a few nights ago, and what was I amazed? It's dark.
It is dark there, right?
It's very dark. There's no light in. So first thing, we've got to light the property up. I mean,
Yeah.
we've got to light it up. And second thing, we could put a driving range here, but we could spend some money in the building and get things done in the building where
Right.
we could do something. There's so many things we could do, but you need to have a vision. Am I correct?
You are. Berlin has fantastic potential as a town. Going back to the nice, tight-knit community we have, but have been kind of straying away from, to just the great people here. The possibilities are really endless for Berlin.
You know, we have an excellent educational system in Berlin,
Yeah.
okay? And we've got a lot of kids that like to get involved, through Upbeat. I mean, I don't know how many kids are involved in Upbeat, but there's a tremendous amount of kids
There
involved
is.
in Upbeat, okay?
Yep.
And these kids are itching to do community service.
Mhm.
Get them in the community, work at the community center, work at the meeting house,
Right.
do some volunteer work at our spring concerts, parking cars,
Yeah.
directing cars, or doing some work at the ice rink. I mean, it's about the community. My candidacy is about the community.
Right.
You have the mayor right now. He doesn't understand what community is.
Yeah.
It's about the community. It's about us doing things together. And another thing that's important, which is part of the community, make sure our taxes are low.
Yes.
And the only way you can do taxes, you need an economic plan. You need a mayor that's willing to go out there with his economic director, Chris Edge, which Chris Edge is phenomenal.
Yep.
You could go out there and you could bring some of the type of the businesses. Maybe they want to move in a smaller community, but the best part is that we have access to all these highways.
Yes.
And that's gonna offset our tax bill. But also we need housing.
Yep.
And so, there's nothing wrong with trying to put a community on the Berlin Turnpike, a few communities on the Berlin Turnpike,
Right.
or somewhere, where we could have it zoned. So we need housing. We need senior housing.
Senior
That's
housing.
another thing that's been neglected in town is senior housing. I mean, there's 50 seniors on a waiting list.
Yes.
And we have no idea when they're going to be. And so they're on a waiting list in Berlin, they're on a waiting list in Plainville, Newington, and whatever town the waiting list opens, they'll move to town.
Yep.
So we're going to lose these seniors that have lived in this town forever, and now they're going to be living in Newington and Plainville or wherever.
Right.
Then we need to have a senior tax credit.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're 70 years old, you're making 70,000 or less, have 200,000 in the bank, we can freeze your taxes where you can stay in that house,
Makes sense.
and we won't lien your house. So there's so many activities we could do. I see Berlin, and I have faith that this town is going to move forward. I really do. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, I see it too. With the proper leadership, proper planning, and communication, we can do a lot.
And we've got to stay away from, the negativity.
Yes.
And we've got to, as head of the council, if I do get elected as mayor, I'm head of the council. I'd like to bring the council together. I'd like to see if we could work down and agree on things and compromise on things instead of this division. This division is ugly. And I said it at the senior center when I was there a few days ago. I said, we could bring the community together. We could start in Berlin.
Yeah.
You start in a little town like Berlin, and you make politics more civil.
Yes.
And then it moves to another little town. You could start a momentum,
Really could.
and then all of a sudden, you go into the city and you do some civility. So maybe we could start in Berlin.
Yeah.
Maybe some town out west will see, hey, Berlin, look what Berlin's doing.
Right.
It's possible. Politics is local, and we've got to get rid of all the negativity out of us.
Yes.
And we've got to tell the politicians that want to run for office, you know what? We don't need negativity. We don't need stuff in your mailbox. We don't need negativity in the newspaper. We need to get positive. We need to know what you want to do for the town of Berlin.
Exactly.
And that's how you move the town ahead. And so, past year, that's all we've had is negativity, and that holds the town back.
It does. This negativity and just not cooperativeness is really what holds us back as a town.
No, and we're bad. I mean, you're young, you're out of high school. We've got a lot of high school interns. I mean, we're sending a bad example to the kids.
Yeah.
That it's okay to go to a Board of Education meeting, for example, and be rude.
Yeah.
It's okay to go in front of a council and be rude. It's okay to bump into a council person in the mirror and stop and shop and start screaming at them for whatever reason. And it's not okay.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not okay. We've got to be civil.
Right.
And we've got to respect each other. We all have different opinions, but we've got to respect our opinions, other people's opinions, and we've got to meet in the middle of the road. So that's important, and that's what I want to do as mayor. I want to be able to work with the Board of Education. When I was on the Board of Finance,
Yes.
as chairman, the first call I made was superintendent of schools. I've known him for years, so we talked, and then I met Mr. Tenza, who was the president.
Yes.
And you know what? We were honest with each other. Where we disagreed, we disagreed. Where we agreed, we agreed. We had a very positive working relationship with the president of Board of Education. And you know what? And then that moved on to Mr. Rorian and moves on to Julie Mott.
Yes.
These are the people that worked with me. And I expect to work whoever's the president of the Board of Education.
Yes.
I expect to work with them, with the chairman of the Board of Finance, and hopefully it's Jerry Paradise. And we can work together and continue the education, because I believe if you're going to have a good economy, a business economy in town where you're offset, your mill increases, you got to have a quality education. In order to, that's the beginning of economic development, is a quality education.
Right.
If you don't have that quality education, you can't have economic development. And there's some people that really don't understand that. And that's what I'm going to do. Affordable economic for the Berlin school systems.
Yeah, I think that goes hand in hand with having a great economic plan for the future.
It really is. I think Berlin is at the cusp.
Yes.
It's at the cusp right now
Yep.
to do a lot of great things. But what we need is a mayor that's going to bring it over the cusp.
You're right.
We don't need a mayor that thinks about the past.
Exactly.
I don't know about you, but I'm tired of hearing politicians talking about what I've done in the past.
Right.
I want to hear politicians telling us what we're going to do in the future. I want politicians to say, you know what? I want to work with Sam on the community center, senior center.
Right.
I want to work with Sam doing some renovation work on the Farmington Avenue and build a true green.
Exactly.
Those are the things that I want, and I don't think we have that right now.
Yeah, I mean, I want to hear people with different opinions coming to Sam, even though their opinions are different, to work together, work out a compromise.
That's right.
See what we could do.
That's right. And it's about transparency too.
Yes.
We need to be transparent in everything.
Right.
And when I do become mayor, we're going to look at the police commission. That's, a lot of people start complaining about the police commission over this chief. I don't know the whole story.
Yes.
But what I do know is that it needs to be more transparent.
Definitely.
And so like I've said the other time, I'm going to talk to the town manager, talk to corporation counsel. I'm going to talk to our human resources lady and try to figure out how we could bring the police commissioners forward in 21st century.
Yes.
And try to make it more transparent.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm going to do. But I mean, you take the Board of Education, for example, they're a fine bunch. They're fine people. Their job is to educate people. And our job is to make sure we fund that education as a resident of the town of Berlin. But also we've got to make sure it's affordable.
Yes.
That's the key word. Affordability is the key word in town of Berlin. So I mean, that's where we're at right now.
Yeah. Bringing it back to transparency, I think for me, as a 20-something-year-old in Berlin, I really have no clue what's going on a town political level. Without really reading the newspaper, I have no clue. We got to bring the town into the 21st century.
And that's why, as mayor, I'm going to have, I think our town council meeting is going to be changed around a little bit. It's going to be done on Facebook Live. I think
Yeah.
more, and I think we're going to get better technology, because I think
Yeah.
the technology that we have right now at the town hall is not really up to date.
Mhm.
So we're going to look at the technology.
Yep.
Maybe talk to a few people that run the Board of Education
Right.
meetings online,
Mhm.
because they do a better job than what we do at the town hall.
The Board of Ed meetings?
Yeah, Board of Ed meetings.
Yeah,
Am I
they
correct?
got some fantastic streams going on there.
Yeah.
I see them everywhere too, whether it's on Facebook or it's on YouTube. They're doing a great job
Yeah.
there.
So,
It's easy to keep up
so
with
I
them
mean,
too, yeah.
the person, what was the person's name that does it? Is it Marcus?
Mark, I think it's Mark Grabowski or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He he's doing a great job there. So I think what I'll do is, if I become mayor, we'll call him over, and maybe
Yeah.
he can look at our symptoms and
Yeah,
tell us
something like
exactly
that for the town council
what we need.
or the Board of Finance
Yeah.
to really be transparent,
And exactly.
to allow for two-way communication between the higher ups in our town and our community. in
That's
town.
right. For example, if all meetings at the town hall, I don't care if it's planning and zone, or
Yeah.
police commission, Board of Finance, should be put on Zoom
Of
live.
course.
And people should know if it works, because if that meeting that everyone's complaining about,
Mhm.
the police commission meeting, was on Zoom live,
Exactly.
then we would actually see what actually went on, and then we
No.
know,
Exactly.
so we know which side is telling the truth. Because right now, we wouldn't know.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. That's bringing the town into 21st century.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to look at technology,
Yes.
and I think we'll use that. We'll talk to that young man
Yeah.
and have him, because he does do the Board of Ed stuff. Am I correct?
Yeah.
So we'll talk to him and see if we need to get some equipment, or perhaps we can share the equipment with the Board of Ed.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with,
Yeah.
and that's transparency.
Yeah, I think with the technology we have in the 21st century today, there's no excuse for being fully transparent and
No.
allowing two-way communication.
None whatsoever.
Right.
So, I mean, these are the things that I'm going to do as mayor.
Mhm.
These are the goals that I'm going to have as mayor. And I the community
Yes.
is very important to me.
Yes.
Berlin pride is very important to me.
Mhm.
And I just feel that that's what we lack right now.
Yes.
And do we have any questions? Do we know if we have any questions?
Hey, do we have any
And we have any questions?
Let's get our producer
We got our producer. We've had some difficulties.
some feedback, questions, comments.
And this is the eve of the election. It's pretty exciting. I was at the Italian Political Club, and I gave a speech at the Italian Political Club.
Mhm.
And we had some people there from the Italian Political Club. We had the mayor of Hartford there.
Yes.
We had our state senator there.
Oh, wow.
We had a bunch of candidates, and the atmosphere was unbelievable.
Mhm.
It was people. This is an election we feel that we could win.
Yeah.
The enthusiasm out there
Good.
of change. Change is the best. I mean, that's what people are talking about. They're talking about change.
Change.
When you have a mayor in office, and I don't care if he's a Democrat, Republican, it doesn't matter. When you have a mayor in office for 6 years,
Yeah.
people tend to like change.
Change is good.
And I think change is going to work out very well for us.
Yeah. Change can be scary,
Well, change could be scary.
but it's definitely good.
And I think we're looking at the positive side of victory here.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think so too.
So we got any questions from our producers yet? Okay, that's great. How about you know what? How about if we put a chair here and see if we get our high school girl here, and maybe she can give us an opinion what's going on at the high school.
Yeah. I mean, maybe younger point of view.
Yeah, why not?
See
She can
what-
share a discussion right
Yeah.
there. Because this is what my candidacy is all about.
Right.
It's about bringing the youth into the campaign
Yeah.
and bringing the youth into Berlin. So what's your opinion? How do you think we're doing?
Yeah. Well, you're. This is Emily.
Emily?
She's high school senior right now, Berlin High School. What have you been hearing from young people your age.
Well, I'm honestly hearing pretty good things about this in general. I think young people want like the transparency, a good leadership that communicates with everyone in the town,
Yeah.
not just certain groups of people.
Getting the youth involved in our town, in important town decisions, I think is a great idea.
They're the future of this town, and that's why I think I'll become mayor. I intend to come and speak to the students of Berlin High School, possibly, twice a year, maybe whenever they have me. Or maybe do a rally and we could speak about things that they want to see changed in Berlin, or even in a small group.
Yes.
Because they're the future of this town. They're the people that are going to go off to college and hopefully come back and move to Berlin.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think that's important. I think another thing we missed out in the town of Berlin was the fact that, we didn't do a forum, a debate with the mayor. Don't you agree that was like a missed opportunity for the town?
I agree. It would have been a great thing for the town to see, get everyone's point of views across.
And I think that's where the mayor failed. And again, he lacked transparency.
I got a question for you here, Sam.
Yes.
William says he is saddened by the ad mayhem and personal attacks of the candidates by the citizens. How do we change that?
You know what? William, that's a very good question because I'm saddened.
Yes.
I mean, the attacks, I don't take it personal. The attacks came against me. I'm saddened that the community had to see that. I mean, I'm saddened that the mayor chose that negativity. I'm saddened that the mayor refused to debate, so he wanted to do negative ads on these personal attacks, and that's not, and he didn't say a vision for the town. I'm saddened for the town. I said the last time we talked that he owed the town an apology, and he refused to apologize to the town. I mean, I'm saddened. How do we change it? We elect mayors or public officials that look on a positive, that believes in the community. See, when you become negative, in my opinion, when you have a negative campaign, that means you really don't believe in the community.
Yeah.
And so, William, that's a good question, and I think that's what we need is people that believe in the community.
Definitely.
And that's important. So, I mean, I'm saddened. I mean, that debate would have been really good. Right, Emily?
Yeah, I think it would have been really good for, especially like the high schoolers to be able to run something like that and see it all go around. It would be great for them to get that point of view of like experience, but it'd also be great for the community to be able to see like the different points of views.
And the mayor said it was laughable, right?
Yeah,
Did he really say that to him?
he really did.
What did he mean by that? Did anybody ask him?
No, I don't think anyone did, but I just feel like Berlin
Did he
deserves
say that to a student or a teacher?
a teacher. Just Berlin deserves better than that negativity.
Definitely.
Laughable.
Mm-hmm.
But yet he's pro-education. Okay? Isn't that something?
That is.
So, my campaign, as I wrap up my campaign tonight, I feel really good because we're in the right place. We ran a positive, uplifting campaign.
Yeah.
And, we walk away with our head up, and we're going to win this election, I feel, because of our positivity, because I think people believe in Berlin Pride.
Yes.
I think people want to get involved in the community. I think people want to see a senior community center. I think people want to see the Berlin Turnpike developed in a different way than what it is now. I think people want a Farmington Avenue and not just empty promises, but somebody's going to roll up their sleeves and actually get the job done.
Right.
And I think I can do the job because, number one, my business background. Okay, that's number one.
Yes.
My years of service for the town, so I'm very familiar with the town. And the people I've met in town. And I feel the people, their spirit. Yesterday, I'll give you a good example. I went door knocking. I was talking to this guy who's a businessman. He ran a large company. And, he said, he's retired now.
Yes.
He said he sent the council a letter, the mayor, he said, a letter that he wanted to be part of the senior community center.
Yep.
Okay, he wanted to be part of that commission.
Planning for it.
Yeah, and he was never given a call or anything. He was never asked to be part of that commission. That man was an asset. He ran a large company. He's retired. He sold the company.
Yes.
He understood how to do finance, and that's the type of person you want a commission like that,
Yeah.
that understands numbers, because at the end of the day, it's all about numbers
It
when you
is.
build a community center, senior center.
Yeah.
And so there's so much talent out there that we could explore from our own residents,
Mhm.
that we could explore. We don't have to put council people and board of finance members on these commissions. No,
Right.
we could put we could get out there and get the talent that understands how to put deals like that together, and then be our advisors, come
Yeah.
to us and tell us what to do. And I think the mayor missed that mark to do that. And I told him, I said, hey, listen, if I get elected for mayor,
Mhm.
I'm going to redo this commission. I'm going to redo this commission the first night when I take my oath, if I win. And I'm gonna make some changes on this commission, and he's going to be one of the first people I'm going to ask to serve on this commission because of his experience.
Mhm.
Because I think experience does matter
Yes.
when you're putting commissions for business people that have been in the business community, So he missed his mark. And another person I talked to, he wants to be part of the Kensington Village Commission. He has a business in town on Farmington Avenue. He's excited about the commission.
Mhm.
He thinks that the previous administration, the current administration's missed the mark. And the reason why he feels they missed the mark, because the mayor is banking on this apartment building complex that's going up. I'm not knocking it. I think it's a good complex. I think it brings people in, walking traffic on Farmington Avenue. But that's not the center of Berlin.
Yeah.
It'll never be the center of Berlin.
Mhm.
It's a private property
Yeah.
there. And you can't do a concert on private property unless you have a lease
True.
agreement or something. Right now, I haven't seen the lease agreement,
Mhm.
not unless the mayor's not telling us anything.
Mm.
So that's not the center of town. You don't put an apartment building complex as the center of town.
Right.
It's an insult to our intelligence.
Mhm.
And that's what the mayor's trying to sell. He's trying to sell that idea. It's just not going to work. And so this businessman, that I met, well, I was talking to the business community at Farmington Avenue. He said the same thing. He said every time he talks to mayors, oh, that's going to be the center of town. It's an apartment building complex.
Yeah.
That's what it is. So, I mean, I intend to go out there and get that talent
Mhm.
to be part of the boards and commission.
Yeah.
And make people feel wanted. Another thing is that if you look at the vacancy rate on the boards and commissions, nobody wants to be part of it because the mayor handpicks his people.
I think that goes great back to transparency.
That's right.
Having great two-way communication with the community, having them be aware of available commissions or ideas coming up that they could be a part of and helping, be an active member.
The community needs to know what's going on, and they also need ways to get involved.
That's right. And that's why I'm excited. I tell you, this has been a great campaign. I met you guys.
Yes.
I mean, you guys are young, you're involved in the community, and that's fantastic. My campaign manager, KJ, she's probably one of the best campaign managers ever. Then our campaign strategist, Cornell, he's not here, but he's another one that's a great strategist.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at this, in my opinion, I always look at the people that the person surrounds himself with.
Yes.
And I surround myself with smart people
Yes.
that dream big,
Mhm.
and that want good things, because that's what it's all about. It's about dreaming big. When John F. Kennedy was president,
Yeah.
he wanted to go to the moon,
Yeah.
and people didn't take him serious.
That's true.
And we went to the moon, and look, by going to the moon, look what we have today: cell phones. All this stuff came from that space thing.
Yep.
And that's what we need to understand. I think we don't think big anymore.
Yeah.
And I want-
We're scared to think big.
Big. And I want, that's what I want Berlin. I want Berlin to visualize what it could be.
Yeah.
And not what it's been, but what it could be. And think about the future. I mean, we're sliding into the future. We need to slide out of that negativity.
Exactly.
We need to stop beating on each other, because it doesn't matter. What I've always said, it doesn't matter if you're a Democrat, it doesn't matter if you're a Republican, it doesn't matter you're an independent.
Yeah.
You're a Berlin resident.
Mhm.
We all work together.
Right.
And that's what my candidacy is all about. My candidacy is about working together. It's about bringing people together. It's not about negativity, or you're a Republican, we can't talk to you. If you're a Democrat, we can't talk to you. No, we want to hear different opinions. We want people to come in and give us their opinions, because you know what? Everybody's opinion is important to me. It really is. There's no right, there's no right answer, wrong answer when you come and try to develop a town.
Right.
When it's what works.
Right.
And everyone's afraid to do something. And I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to change Berlin.
Yes.
I'm not afraid to bring businesses in town. I'm not afraid to try to build that community senior center I'm not afraid to go get those grants. I'm not afraid to build an ice rink or a concert venue for summer concerts on Farmington Avenue. I'm not afraid to do that. I'm not afraid to set up a commission to get that $500,000 grant that I'm going to set up to help business people enhance their outside dining for the summer,
Yes.
then do the heating. I'm not afraid to make that work. Okay, what I just need to do is get people that are going to work on the team, and we get it done. And I've got a very smart team, and I got a team that can get it done. And that's why I think we're going to be successful in the next 2 years if I get elected for mayor.
Yeah. You guys heard it. Sam can get it done.
Yeah, we got to see what we got. We got any more questions? Or got a technology at work, Berlin High Technology, isn't it great? So are you having fun doing Facebook while live with us,
Oh
Emily?
yeah, I enjoy it.
And your parents, they like it?
Yeah, my mom's on right now.
Oh.
I think it's a great way to connect to the community.
I think it's an excellent way, and I think, when I get elected for mayor, we're going to do this more often. And get it done.
Okay. I've got a great question here. Was there anything you wished you did on this campaign that you didn't get to, or wish that you explored?
That's a good question. You know what? I think everything that I did on this campaign, I have no regrets. Okay?
Yep.
I think we started positive and we're ending positive. I think the staff that we have, everyone, we worked as a team, but we had a good time.
Yes.
I mean, we had a great time.
It was a great time.
And the months went by really fast.
Yeah, for sure.
We had a lot of great ideas, and the best part is we spitballed these ideas to get it done.
Yeah.
So I really have no regrets. I guess the only regret I have, and it's not for me, it's for the town, that we had experienced negativity of the other side.
Yes.
It's okay for an opposition candidate to compare the record with the current mayor.
Right.
I mean, that's part of campaigning. I take his record and I said, you know what, I can do better than his record, okay? And to put his record out.
Yeah.
But for the town, I regret for the town that we had experienced these personal attacks. They were ugly.
Yeah.
They were very ugly. So I guess, if we hope, the other side should have maybe had a little regrets too. But on my side, we've had a great time. It was a good run for us, and I liked it a lot.
Yeah. I mean, me working also on the campaign with Sam, it's been great. We've definitely done a lot, tried a lot, explored a lot, and I think we got a good shot tomorrow.
I mean, think about it. We're doing Facebook Live. No other candidate in the history of Berlin's ever done Facebook Live. I mean, am I right or wrong?
You're right. We're doing first. Yeah.
And then no candidate in the history of Berlin did a 4-week op-ed thing on page 2. And I told a story of what I thought Berlin should be.
Yeah.
And I don't think any candidate ever opened up like that. Okay, people in Berlin know who I am. People in Berlin know that I get excited for this town. People in Berlin know that I want the best for this town, that I'm going to roll up my sleeve and do whatever it takes so we can get to be the best.
Yeah.
I want us to be the envy of the whole district, of all the surrounding towns. I want to say, you know what? Those people came together and look what they've done. That's what I want people to say about Berlin. I don't want people to say Berlin, oh, that's the town that's divided, that's red and blue, Democrat, Republican town, they're so divided. No,
Yeah.
I want to stop that division. I want to tell those people that are dividing us in town, your time is almost over.
Yeah.
And we're going to win this election. And you know what? If you can't be positive, then just step aside
Yeah.
and let us be positive and move this town forward. But I think people are itching for that positivity.
Yes.
And I think that's what I'm saying. And so, yeah, I'm happy.
Yeah, Sam. Let's say tomorrow goes exactly how we planned, right? What's your first 100 days look like, Sam?
First night that I take the oath, I'm going to do the senior tax freeze.
Okay.
That's the first thing we're going to do.
Okay.
Promise made.
Yep.
Promise kept.
All right.
That same night, I'm going to redo the commission for the senior center and community center. I don't like the way it's structured.
Mhm.
I didn't like the way they structured it. I don't think we should have any councilmen on that commission. I don't think we should have any board of finance member of that commission. I think it should be a commission based on purely the residents that understand how to put deals together. Barbara Gombots definitely should stay in the commission.
Yeah.
What was her name? Donna Bouvier. Bouvier should be on the commission. Those are the only two
Yeah.
that, should be on the commission because, and then we'll build a commission from there that night. And I'm going to talk to Donna and Barbara and
Yeah.
get some names from them. I'm going to put that businessman that we just talked about on the commission
Sounds great.
because he understands how to put deals together and to get stuff together. We need
Yeah.
a person to put that in a commission.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to give him 90 days. The commission right now has no end date. We have 90 days.
No end date.
No end date.
They can take it.
Take as long as they want. The mayor didn't give them an end date.
What is this?
So I'm gonna give them an end date. I want something done in 90 days.
Mhm.
So that's the first two things that I'm gonna do the first night that I become mayor.
Yep.
Then we're gonna, as the weeks go by, economic development.
Okay.
Economic development, we gotta
Get a plan
we
going.
gotta get the plan going. We're gonna sit down with Chris Edge,
Mhm.
get the economic development.
Yep.
But for another thing I'm gonna do that night,
Mhm.
make sure the golf course commission chairman is at the meeting or through Zoom or in person, wherever he feels comfortable.
Yep.
And Chris Edge, and we're gonna put together the winter festival at the golf course. And hopefully we can do it in December, or if not in January. So there's gonna be three things that I'm gonna do that night as mayor.
3 things.
Zero tax increase, reshape the commission
Mhm.
for the community center, senior center.
Yep.
And get the chairman of the golf course commission and Chris Edge working together to put this plan together so we can get the festival going.
Yes.
So I can get, if we have to transfer some money to buy materials to build this ice ring, because if people just tuned in, this festival at Griswold School, not Griswold, at the golf course is going to be crazy. It's going to be
Yeah.
wild. It's going to bring community people in there.
Right.
It's going to be an ice ring. We're going to light it up.
Yep.
And it's mostly going to be on the weekends, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday nights. Okay. We're going to get the upbeat kids to run it.
Yep.
We're going to get the restaurant to stay open those 2 nights. We're going to light up the restaurant at night too, so it won't be dark. And we're going to have concerts there. I'm going to have kids from the middle school, from the grammar school, from the high school. We're going to throw concerts there. We're going to throw a band concert there during the holidays.
Yes.
And then we're going to open it up for local musicians. We have a tremendous amount of talent in Berlin from local musicians, so we're going to open them up for local musicians. We have a wonderful art person at the high school, so we might do an art show there during the holiday time.
Mhm.
So there's so many options, and it's going to be we're going to put these people together with the golf course commissioner
Yes.
and Chris Edge, and we're going to draw up a plan, and we're going to implement the plan. Those 3 things we're going to do. It's going to be, November 16th.
Yeah.
It's going to be an exciting time because those are the 3 things, and people are going to really enjoy it because it's all about community. It's all about the community.
It is. It is. I got a question here from Carol. Are you advocating change, a new vision? Some parents want to change the posture of our school board with more parental involvement. New members, new voices represent a power shift from school administrators and teachers to parents of children. How do you feel about giving parents more say on the school board?
I think parents have say in the school board now.
They do with every board of
you know what? I'm going
audience of citizens.
to tell you the truth. I really don't know what those new faces, new voices, whoever they are talking about. because I had kids in the school system.
Mhm.
I went through the Berlin school system, so I've always felt that I had a say in the school. I mean, if you have a problem with something, you pick up the phone, you set up a meeting with a teacher, set up a meeting with the principal, or you set up a meeting with the superintendent.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've always found them transparent. So I don't know what people are talking about, having a say in the school system. I think every parent has a say in the school system. So I don't think anything has changed.
Yeah.
Not unless they I don't know, do they want to teach the class? I mean, I mean, what do they want? I mean, what do these new voices want? Do they want to actually be teachers and teach the class? I mean, I don't know what they want. I say, I read about them in Facebook, and they're always complaining about the Board of Education.
Yeah.
They're saying the Board of Education is not transparent. They're saying they go in too many executive sessions. Well, you know what? You're dealing with emotions, with kids' emotions, and some sensitive material that
You're
cannot be discussed in open session.
Right.
And that has to be discussed in executive session. Or you're dealing with some disciplinary matter with a teacher, needs to be discussed in executive session.
Yes.
Okay, that's what they discuss in the executive session.
Right.
They don't discuss how to move a basketball court from one end to another in executive session. I know what they discuss in executive session because I've talked to them. I mean, I'm chairman of the Board of Finance. We have executive session if we have to discuss some personnel stuff or something that's very sensitive stuff that is very private. So I don't know what they're talking about. I really, you know what? I think the current Board of Education is a dynamic board. I've dealt with, Mott, the President Mott.
Yep.
You want to talk about somebody passionate for education?
Very
They're more passionate than
Yes.
her.
Yes.
And the other members, I mean, Mr. Tenza's running. I served with Mr. Tenza when he was president. I was chairman.
Yep.
Very passionate. So I don't know what these new voices are talking about, transparency. There's transparency on the Board of Education. There's a lot of transparency on the Board of Education as far as I'm concerned.
Emily, what do you think? You're a high school senior. Do you think the transparency of school administration and the board between parents and teachers is good?
I mean, I think it's been great, honestly. And if you ever need to have a conversation with someone, you can always meet with an administrator, you can go to the Board of Ed meetings, they're there, they have audience of citizens if you ever want to have your voice heard. In my experience, it's been pretty good.
I mean, it doesn't get more clear than that from a student. I mean, I also was a past student not too long ago, and anytime I had an issue, any parents had an issue, it was one phone call away. You call the school, call the board, and you can get to pretty much anyone you'd like and voice your concerns.
And you know what? And they accommodate you. So I don't know what they're talking about. I really, again, Again, you're talking about negativity versus being positive. Okay? And you could turn, the five voices, I mean, what I've read, it's all, everything comes out of them is negative. I mean, if you listen to them, the school system's like the most awful place in town of Berlin. instead of building it up, and we got, I said that the other day, it was a few weeks ago, we've got excellent teachers. I mean, instead of praising these teachers, I mean, think what these teachers did during COVID.
Oh, yeah.
School closes in 1 week. It's supposed to be closed for a week or two because nobody really understood COVID.
Right.
All of a sudden, school just shuts down because now all of a sudden we got to handle that you can't keep the schools open. So everything shuts down in the whole country, right? Yeah. So these elementary school teachers, high school teachers, middle school teachers had never taught a class on Zoom in their whole life, right?
Yeah.
All of a sudden had to learn how to use Zoom. How to contact the students. We had to make sure the students had Chromebooks and everything available from home.
Right.
And then we had to tie it all in together. And I've experienced, my wife was a school teacher. And then the things that they did was unbelievable. No kid was left behind during that time. No kid was left behind during that time. And now you're the new voices and new whatever they call themselves are criticizing these teachers, are criticizing these administrators, are criticizing the Board of Education. Yeah. And you wonder, what are they criticizing about? Because these guys did their job. They're just negative individuals that what we talked about. If you're negative and you don't want to change and become positive, then you got to wait on the sidelines because we don't have time for negativity anymore.
Yeah.
We need to move the town forward. And so, and new voices, you know what? they're not new voices. They're not going
That's
to win.
true.
The,
I mean, not to mention there's PTO at every school.
yeah, that's right. I mean, that's right. You have a problem as a parent, you call your PTO person.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm going to tell you the truth. I really don't know. Like I just said, maybe they want to teach a class. I don't know what they want.
Yeah.
But what they want is detrimental to the education of our students. And if they ever got on that Board of Education,
Yeah.
oh my God, it would be a total disaster as far as I'm concerned. So no, I'm concerned about it. And if I become mayor, I would really be concerned about, if it's not broken, don't fix it. And the Board of Education is not broken.
Yeah. Kind of segueing off education here, going back onto town. What kind of stores or attractions would you bring in to Berlin on your watch? I've heard a lot of people mention Trader Joe's and different types of stores.
You know what? Those are hard. And,
Yeah.
and I'm going to tell you the truth, because these big stores like Trader Joe's, they go by traffic count.
Traffic count. Okay.
Okay, there's got to be a certain amount of traffic count to
Yeah.
move in a grocery store
Mhm.
for them to even consider building.
Yep.
So what we've got to do is we've got to analyze the traffic count, and then we've got to be able to sell it to these people that, the traffic count might be a little off, but if for example, Trader Joe's, I don't, the nearest Trader Joe's I think is in West Hartford.
West Hartford.
West Hartford, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So, maybe if you could figure out how to get a meeting with the executives of Trader Joe's, say, Berlin's the center of the state, and it would attract Meriden, it would attract people in the southern end of the state,
Right. You get Meriden,
Meriden,
Cromwell,
Wallingford,
Southington.
Southington to come here.
Yeah.
So you could up that traffic count.
Of course.
But you got to set up a meeting with the executives of Trader
Mm-hmm.
Joe's, and you got to sell them the idea.
Yeah.
So there's always a possibility. I'm not saying that we're going to do it, but I'm
Yeah.
saying if you could get a meeting with them and you could demonstrate that, we could put a Trader Joe's somewhere in town,
Mhm.
and you could demonstrate that the people in town and the surrounding towns will support it,
Yes.
anything's possible. You never close the door on something. There's always a possibility of making it happen.
Yeah, definitely. Something we could do with Chris Edge, definitely.
That's right, but definitely, Chris said, there's always a
Yeah.
deal to be made.
Mhm.
But the question is how you structure the deal.
There it is.
And
yeah.
right now, we don't have an administration that just knows how to structure a deal.
Mhm.
Well, as mayor, working with Chris Edge, we can figure out how we can do that with the
Yeah.
council too. I mean, it's a joint partnership. It's not just about the mayor, it's about the council.
It is.
It's a joint partnership. So the
Yeah.
council has to work, we in the council, we work together
Mhm.
to get this done. So neither side should be able to take credit. It should be just
Cooperative effort.
cooperate on both sides, and
Yes.
that's important.
Yes. Now, Sam, who are you most excited to work with when you're mayor?
You know what? That's a really good question. There's so many people I'd like to work with. I'm excited to work. I'm excited to work with the superintendent as mayor.
Yeah.
He's a great guy.
Mhm.
I'm excited to work with the town manager. Town manager's a really great guy.
Yeah.
With the finance director, Kevin, I'm excited to work with Kevin. I mean, he's a very, very great guy. There's a lot of people, town clerk, a lot of tremendous, with Simons at the town garage, this guy, the
Yeah.
one that's in charge, I'll be excited to work with him. There's a lot of people that I'm excited to work with at the town hall right now to work with. And I'm excited to work with the residents of this community.
Mhm.
Because as mayor, the residents are important. I'll be accessible. You
Yes.
could call me up. We could have coffee together. If you got a complaint on what I'm doing,
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm excited to work with the seniors at the senior center when I go with, So I'm excited working with all different types. I'm excited to go to the high school, talking to the kids and maybe get them involved in town government and get some interns to work at the town government because they're interested. So I'm excited to work with everybody.
Yeah.
That's the exciting part. I mean, the town officials definitely, but I'm also the residents of this community. Like I said, there's a lot of talent in Berlin that hasn't been tapped. There's a lot of talent, and I want to tap the talent to Berlin and to bring that community spirit. That's important, the community spirit. That's what I want to bring to Berlin.
Yeah. That's the bringing back Berlin spirit. I feel like is a great overarching theme for us.
I don't want to live in the past, but when I was in the Board of Finance in the 90s, we had so much community spirit. People were lining up to join the Board of Commission.
Yes.
People wanted to be involved. High school kids wanted to be involved. Everybody wanted to be involved. I don't know where we lost it.
Yeah.
I can't even blame the mayor on that. I don't, somewhere down the line, we lost it.
Got lost somewhere.
It got lost somewhere, and I want to just bring it back.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, Sam, 20 years from now, in the future, down the road, what do you want to be known for when you're a mayor?
Bringing people together.
For bringing people together.
That's
for
what I
bringing
want.
the pride back.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, I don't need a name on a building.
Yeah.
I don't need to put a plaque on a building. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I want people to say, while I'll be in Florida, retired, playing, maybe playing golf if my eyes are good or whatever, playing cards with my wife or whatever. I want people back in Berlin saying, you know what? That mayor really brought the community together. That mayor really brought people together. That mayor didn't care if you were Republican or Democrat or independent.
Yes.
He brought everybody together. And that's what I want to be remembered by 20 years from now. Is that I brought people together. That's the most important thing, and that's what my candidacy is all about. My candidacy is about bringing people together.
Yeah.
I have dreams of where the town should be, but if I don't bring people together, then I could be a success in economics, but I'll be a failure by not bringing people together. So that's what I want to do, is bring people together. That's what I want people to remember me by.
Yeah,
So-
that's very important because you can't make that change and you can't move forward unless everyone's doing it together.
And I think I'm the right person to do the job.
Yep.
I'm the right person to do the job. I'll tell you, you take, we got 5 minutes. So you take, when John Kennedy wanted to run for president, okay, I'm going to give you a story. And he asked his brother Bobby, and Bobby Kennedy said to him, if it's not us now, who is it? Well, that's what I feel today. I feel that it's my time to bring people together. And if it's not us to bring people together, then who's going to do it? We're at a right time. We're at a crisp of bringing people together.
Yeah.
And we can do it, because that negativity, that's just a small group of people that are just loud right now. They're just loud. Negative people are always loud. They're just loud.
Yeah.
But if I could win this election, I bring all the positive people. We could be louder to them, and maybe we might even be able to make them positive. We might even be change them, and they say, you know what, this negativity. Why am I so negative? Look at these people; they're so happy. I'm going to join them. So we could change things, and we could change things that are positive. So that's what I want to be known as. What do you think?
I mean, change starts with the community, right?
Starts at the community.
Yes.
And let's get back to those 5 voices. They're angry people. And maybe we could change them after the election, after I get elected. Maybe we could sit down with these people, and you know what? Maybe you have some good ideas. I'm not closing the door. Maybe I'm not closing the door. Maybe
Right.
we need to open a dialogue with these people that want some type of change at the school that we don't understand.
Yeah.
So I think it's important for the mayor to bring these people in the conversation
Yeah.
with the superintendent of schools, with the president of the Board of Education, and instead of arguing about it on Facebook and insulting each other back and forth on Facebook, we'll bring them here and we could talk about it in front of Facebook Live and say, okay, how are we going to talk? How are we going to bring things together? So I'm not shutting the door on those 5 people that are running. I mean, I respect them for running. I think anybody who runs for office, but I think maybe they're a little bit naive, thinking that things are so bad. So if we could bring everybody in the group and just talk it out, God knows we might be able to change them too.
Yeah, definitely. Just because
It's possible.
they're just spreading some negative comments doesn't mean we shouldn't hear them out.
Of course, and that's what I'm saying. That's what I would do as mayor. I bring them in the room, bring the superintendent, bring the president of the Board of Education. Let's talk. I could be the moderator.
Yeah.
Let's talk and let's see what your concerns are.
Yeah.
And let's see if we could incorporate them with the superintendent, and maybe the things that you think that are happening at the school isn't really happening, and you're getting, and all of a sudden everybody's happy and we walk away as one, and that's what counts.
You know what that sounds like to me, Sam?
What?
Transparency.
Transparency, that's right. And maybe we'll have you to be the moderator.
By all means.
We'll
Sam.
give you a job too.
Oh.
Yeah, why not? Emily's got to graduate. So you know what? Let's wrap this up. Tomorrow's a very important day.
It is.
Tomorrow's the day that we can get Berlin pride back.
Exactly.
Tomorrow, like I said at the beginning, polls are open from 6 in the morning to 8 o'clock at night.
Yep.
Okay? And it's a very important election. It's an
Yes.
election, it's for you, the people in town. You're voting for what you want your community to be.
Mhm.
Let's forget the negativity. Let's look at the positive stuff that we can do for this town.
Yes.
We could have a community center, senior center, and it's not going to cost a lot of money because we're going to work with those elected officials, those state people that are going to bring us the funding that we need, and we can do that project. And it's going to be a fabulous project. It's going to bring the young and the old together. It's going to be great. A swimming pool, a therapy pool, a cafe in there. Those are the things that we're going to bring in town.
Yeah.
Then we're going to look at the fact that we're going to bring community spirit, businesses in town, concerts in town. These are the things that you're voting on tomorrow. You're voting for the future tomorrow. And,
Yes.
and I trust the people in Berlin to do the right thing and vote for Sam LaMaglia for mayor. I really do. And you know what? If you vote for Sam LaMaglia for mayor, I will never disappoint you. I will roll up my sleeves. I will bring people together. I will be transparent, and it will be a new way of doing business in town.
Yes.
A transparent way, a happy way, and people are going to be happy. So I'm asking you for your vote for tomorrow. I'm asking you for your vote tomorrow. And if you give me your vote, I will be honored to serve as mayor.
Yep. You're voting for Berlin Pride tomorrow.
That's it, Berlin Pride.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yep. Thank you, and
Thank you.
good night, Berlin.
Good night, Berlin.
See you tomorrow.